Good morning and welcome to the Bloomberg Forum. I'm Betsy Keller here with Richard Thalheimer, founder and chairman of the SHRP Image. SHRP Image operates a catalog and 74 stores that sell a variety of merchandise, including electronic gadgets and apparel. SHRP Image's sales declined 1.8% in fiscal 1994 to $146.9 million. Net income increased nearly fivefold to $1.8 million or 20 cents a share. Welcome to the Bloomberg Forum.
Thank you, Betsy.
SHRP Image's sales suffered in the early 90s from merchandising problems. You revised your merchandise mix, but sales still declined from 1993 to 1994. Why was that?
The 90s, 1990-91. It was a tough mood in the economy. I think people really didn't want to spend money. So it sort of gave me a setback mentally, and I wanted to find some new merchandise areas to explore. I think, having done that experimentation, things are really on track right now.
What was the problem exactly before?
Well, in a nutshell, I think people felt it was politically incorrect to buy a Porsche, you had to buy a Volvo. It was politically incorrect to buy from the SHRP Image, you had to go buy a sleeping bag at LL Bean.
So the stuff was seen as a little bit too ritzy?
That's it, yeah. The mood was anti-glitz. That's right.
The mood was anti-glitz.
Yeah.
So what have you done now to remedy that?
Two things. One is we try to develop products that are more practical, that are more health-oriented, and the healthy products are really doing well. And also, I've deliberately looked for some price points that are lower while keeping the high price points as well. So we've got the high-end customer we always had, but we've added some lower-end customers, not too low, but more middle class, and gotten the healthier products, which really are the trend of the 90s.
Well, I remember in your 1992 annual report, you spoke about increasing the number of items that you had that were marketed over $100. Is that still what you're doing?
Well, actually, this year, we are moving our price points back up to have some higher priced items. And one of our hot items, for example, is a night scope that lets you see in the dark for $600. But at the other end of the spectrum, something that sells for $29 or $39 is really important to us right now, which wasn't true in the 80s.
Of course, the higher price items are going to get you much better margins, though.
Generally.
Yeah. And electronic gadgets. Apparently, electronics are just not a great margin area.
Right. And so one of the big steps we did, you're exactly right, is we got out of the brand name electronics altogether, figuring let Circuit City and the Best Buy, let them have that market to themselves. The only electronics we sell now are privately labeled, manufactured, internal, private brand products that we make ourselves with better margins.
So everything in the catalog and everything in the stores has the SHRP Image label on it.
Pretty much.
They're pretty much private label stuff.
That's our goal. And a lot of these products, we make little niche products that no one else makes. For example, we'll make a sound soother that has the sounds that you listen to ocean or country, so you can go to sleep masking noises of the city if you wish. Or we make a snore control that tries to prevent you from snoring. Products that other companies like Sony or Panasonic just don't make.
I heard also that you're trying to increase your in-house marketing.
In-house marketing being?
Oh, in-house, actually more like your in-house goods.
Right. Trying to get them, in fact, 3 years ago, that was about 5% of our gross profit. As we sit here today, our own manufactured products are about 15% of our gross profit. And my goal is to get that to about 25% by a year from today.
And those carry higher margins?
They typically start with margins that are 50% better than the run-of-the-mill products. Yeah, our company goal is to get a 50% maintained margin. With our house products, we can often get 70, 75%.
How do you decide what it is you're going to make for the catalog?
Well, that's the art and the science, and it's always difficult, but I travel to stores a lot, I listen to people, I ask questions, and I learn that people want products that relieve stress, that make them look better, that make them feel better, that make their life more organized or help them with their careers. Those kind of products really sell well to our customer.
I've spoken with a few retail consultants who say they're concerned that a lot of the products in the SHRP Image catalog are just not completely necessary, and that today's value-conscious consumer isn't really interested. They'd feel guilty. They'd rather put their expenses toward whatever's going to happen in the healthcare system, their children's education. Take your $350 electronic massage machine as an example.
We've even got one for $1,500. That's an electronic massage machine, and there's a chair for $2,500, and yet that massaging chair for $2,500 is about the 5th best-selling item in the entire company. But at the same time, I got to use the opportunity to emphasize that our best-selling products are ones that are more practical. For example, our #1 selling item is a great value in a garment bag that I personally designed, that we advertise a lot in the airlines, and that bag is a terrific seller and is very practical. So I think we have to balance the practical with the impractical. But let's not forget, shopping has to be entertaining in the 90s. People want to see a little bit of fun and entertainment, even though they might buy something that's more practical.
In your marketing in the stores and in the catalogs, how are you trying to emphasize the utilitarian quality of these goods?
Well, certainly one thing we're trying to do is to put the products that are more practical in bigger exposures in the catalog. So now there's like a whole page in the catalog on the snore control. There's a whole page on the garment bag. Whereas the recording briefcase for $500 that lets you secretly record business meetings with no one knows, that's only on a third of a page, for example. So we balance the presentations to get that across.
Do you personally own any Sharper Image stuff?
Well, I have to test a lot of it because as the chief developer of products, the chief bottle washer and the jack of all trades, I'm really the one that's got to know all these products because that's really my lifeblood is the merchandising.
So do you go around with the Sharper Image tiny personal computer and
Absolutely.
And do you use the snore control?
Absolutely.
You use all the things?
I use everything.
Give them as gifts? You actually use these things?
Definitely. That's really, I think what's one reason people believe in the Sharper Image is because they know that Richard Thalheimer personally is trying all these things.
I'd like to go into the TV shopping area. Sure. You sold your products on QVC last September.
Yes.
Now you're going to sell your goods, what is it, 7 months later. You say you're going to sell your goods on
Right.
Spiegel and Time Warner's Catalog One channel.
Right.
Why exactly did you break the tie with the home shopping on with QVC? And especially since I noticed that you told a San Francisco news reporter that the sales were phenomenal on these segments on QVC. I'm wondering about that.
Well, I love QVC, and I think they've done a great job. I was really flattered that we had the opportunity to have 2 one-hour shows on QVC in October and November of last year. They did great. And they don't like to reveal the actual sales numbers, but they were very high. Then Time Warner announced a new upscale shopping channel just for upscale retailers like Williams-Sonoma, Neiman Marcus, Eddie Bauer, Spiegel, Sharper Image. And I realized this is where we really belong. It's a better group of stores for us to be with. And most importantly, we get to be on every day, 3 times a day with a half-an-hour show, every day.
And you're surrounded by a lot of other upscale,
retailers.
well-regarded
Right.
retailers.
But think of the advantage of being able to advertise in our catalog to our customers so they can see us every day at a certain time, like 8 o'clock, as opposed to being on QVC, where once a month we get to be on, and people don't really know exactly when.
And the stuff that goes on to the home shop, the TV shopping network, will be the stuff that you've manufactured in-house,
Yes.
your own private label stuff.
Mostly, because that's where our biggest profit margins are. But since the Time Warner Spiegel channel is structured like a video mall on television, it's designed to let a retailer make money being a retailer, so we can sell not only the products we manufacture, but we can sell any product that we retail and still make money doing it. And that's really an important difference, is the Time Warner channel can be a lot more profitable for the retailer.
You're going to be on, when is your segment going to come on?
Well, they'll start testing April 1st, and our segments will start airing around the middle of April, around the 11th to the 14th.
Are you going to be on their interactive channel as well?
Well, we are definitely talking to them about that, and I'd like to, but I really think that's a year or 2 off. Right now, the real important movement in television shopping right now is to get the so-called analog channels started, and then that interactive part will be the more important thing that will take over in 3 or 4 years, but it's premature at this point.
You once said that TV shopping sales could boost your profit by about 10% in 1994. Is that accurate, and where do you see it the year after?
Well, earnings were 20 cents a share this past year. I absolutely believe television shopping will boost our profits by a minimum of 10% this coming year, the year we're in, 94. But realistically, I'd be too modest if I didn't state my goal, which is to see the profits be up 100% in 94. Mm-hmm. Not all from television shopping, but certainly that's part of the overall goal.
How do you see Sharper Image as a company in 5 years? You know, with sales, with TV shopping, just the big picture.
I got to tell you, I've eaten so much humble pie the last 5 years, and I've seen enough difficult times that I don't want to get myself out on a limb being a braggadocio. The fact is, though, I have a goal personally that I'd like to see the company approach $400 million at the end of the 5 years, and if it didn't do that, I'd feel disappointed. profit-wise, we seem to have a very clear path right now based on our sales the last month or two, showing us that the economy is doing well, our products are doing real well, our catalog is doing excellent, and we should have a very good couple of years ahead of us.
And in terms of size, I mean, you have retail stores. You expect to open one or two more this year?
Yeah, three stores this year.
And what about the boutiques?
Well, that is a very exciting area. Since we make some of the products ourselves, we manufacture them, we have the opportunity to sell to other stores, other department stores primarily, our manufactured products and stand in the role of a wholesaler or a manufacturer because we have those normal margins. And the fact is today, department stores are really hungry for interesting gifts, especially for men. And the Sharper Image name tells the customer this is a good gift for Father's Day or Christmas. So we're now selling our products wholesale to Dillard's department stores, to Bloomingdale's. We have actually a Sharper Image store in Bloomingdale's.
And who else? Who else are you looking at?
Well, we are talking to several fine department stores, 3 or 4 different ones. Honestly, I'd rather not announce anything today, but we're talking to them. I think we'll have some good stories to tell in the next month about where Sharper Image products will be exposed this year.
How many more retailers do you expect to announce, say, in this year?
Realistically, 3 or 4 good department store groups should be a good goal for this year.
How does that work? Do you give them a licensing fee?
We actually sell them our products just like any manufacturer would sell them products because we do make the products ourselves.
And
we
they
are a
market them
manufacturer.
and market the products themselves by arranging them in an area there.
Right. They would put the product in a men's accessories area, for example, sell the Sharper Image brand motorized tie rack, for example.
Your publicly traded float on your stock isn't very high. It's about 1.7 million.
Right.
And that's out of about 8.7 million. And you own about 68% of the company. The shares are trading at about 4 3/4. Now that leaves a lot of room for growth. And I noticed that you didn't have any analyst coverage. Would you consider selling your shares in a secondary to make this company more appealing to investors and to analysts?
Well, it's been told to me enough that I believe it. We should have a wider distribution, a bigger float, and we would like to have a secondary perhaps a year from today, raise some money to fund our new projects and working capital. Realistically,
what kind of new projects?
Well, honestly, making the new products has been an enormously successful area for us. I mean, it's really boosting our profits and our sales already this year, and that does take some money to fund that, so that would be the most important area. Someday, I think the wholesale sales will absorb millions of dollars of accounts receivable, and so that would be an area that will need to be covered by additional financing. But I really don't want to do that until the stock is more in the $7, $8, $9, $10 range.
What are some interesting products that you're working on right now?
Oh gosh, we have so many interesting things. One of the ones that we're introducing next month is called Radar Watchdog. This is a product that retails for about $100. It's about the size of a loaf of bread on its end, and you put it behind a door or wall, and it has true radar that sees through the door or wall or window. And if somebody approaches your apartment, even though they can't see the Radar Watchdog, it will sense their presence and start barking with what sounds like a realistic German Shepherd dog. Which I think that's a very clever product for today's times, and I think it'll sell real well.
How much is that going to sell for?
That's about $100.
$100.
Yeah.
What's a reasonable range for your per share earnings for fiscal 1995?
I tell you, my stated goal is 40 cents. If it was 35, I wouldn't be totally disappointed, but I think there's an upside that's more in the 50-cent range. And that's just speaking very frankly, but I really think the 40 cents is very doable based on what we're seeing right now in sales.
And sales, how much do you expect to see sales increase?
Well, I think I mentioned to you before we started, we're seeing sales increases in March of around 20% based on our existing stores and catalog, which is really a very strong sales increase. Catalog's running about 50% ahead for March. I don't know if that'll keep up all year, but I suspect that it will. And it's a combination of good products, and I think our customer, that sort of higher-end customer, is feeling better about spending money right now.
And you said same-store sales are up about 17% this month?
17% for the month to date through about March 23rd or 5th, whatever.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at the Bloomberg Forum.
Betsy, I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.